Purchase your tracks today.
Hey, it's Wednesday. It's Wednesday. Hey, y'all. My bad. I know it's louder out here than normal, but that's okay. I'm out of town, and today was interesting trying to find connection. I turned on my computer and was like, yeah, no, I need to heal myself. So, but we made it. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you so much. It's Wellness Wednesdays. Today, I am talking about something that has been really like in my life in the last few years. It's just like reoccurring. And it's so important for our health, our healing, everything in life that we do. Literally, it depends on being able to process emotions and stress. A lot of the times we think about how, hold up, because I said I was going to do this. I'm sharing. A lot of times we think about how, hold up. Because I said I was going to do this. I'm sharing. All right, I'm sharing it. All right. All right, I'm sharing it. Okay. So a lot of the times when we're thinking about health, how to heal things, we don't really think about why we're in these places. And a lot of the reason why we have stress in our life, disease in our life, why we have the inability to love ourselves, these things a lot of times come from the inability to process stress and emotions. From a young age, we are taught to, like, if we have something to express, like, go shut up. And so those, we're literally, our parents and the adults around us as a child are teaching us to suppress what we feel and what we want to say. And through this process of the adults around us continuously doing this, we in turn, learn how to suppress stress, emotions, everything that we feel, and that it stays in our body and it festers, and it creates a situation that is uncontrollable. Sometimes it can take your mind off a track, your body off a track. Everything in your being is literally made to be an expression of exactly who you are. And when you're not able to do that, you're not able to really connect to yourself. Your body's not able to connect or even work or process. Like, if you on a surface level are not processing emotions and stress, then your kidneys can't process toxins. So everything in our bodies has been made so divinely that they work exactly with each other. So if your brain's not processing, your body organs can, or maybe your heart can't process emotions, but they're all working together for the greater good, or maybe for the damage of yourself, because when one is not in tune, the other is not in tune as well. So if you take that theory or that thought process, you can see how, if you have cancer, it's not necessarily all physical. A lot of it can be stress and emotions when you're not able to process, the death of somebody, then that could lead to disease. We see it a lot when, someone loses a loved one, and like, it's like their body is never the same, or like they pass a year or two later, of what we call heartbreak. And we can see, like, it's literally the heart breaking, not necessarily, what someone would read on an EKG is a broken heart. And so disease festers in us physically, but it's a physical outward expression of what's going on internally. So the reasons why it is important to be able to process your stress and emotions is, it's so important for us, like a list of reasons. But in living in peace, in living in harmony, if you're going to live aligned, then you have to really be able to feel, to acknowledge, and also to process what's stress in your life and the emotions that you have. And do know that when I talk about stress and emotions, it's not always negative. Sometimes we can't even process the good. Sometimes, that's why sometimes you'll get like a promotion at your job, or you'll make a goal that you have, and you won't be able to celebrate it as much as you should. You won't be able to hone in and really feel the excitement of it, because your joy sometimes is just as stressful as your pain. Because if you understand how the brain works, pain is not actually a feeling. Pain is how your brain perceives a message that happens in your nervous system. So that's why you can pinch two people and they have two different pain levels, because pain is not real. It is how your nerve endings fire to your brain, and how that nerve ending is perceiving what's going on. So if you think about that, on the other side of our feelings, just as pain is not a tangible thing that we can quantify, joy is the same. Some people are able to process pain, and other people aren't. Some people are tatted out. Some people can look at somebody and be like, how can you have face tattoos? Like, that feels so painful. And you can talk to the person with face tattoos and like, this was a walk in the park. Well, it's the same thing with joy. Some people, graduate from high school and they're able to express the joy going across the stage. Some people are able to have children and express that. Some people have a rough time in it. So if you look at all of these things that happen, everyone processes them different. And a lot of it has to do with perception and how you're able to process or not at all. So I want to talk about health and processing emotions and stress. So important. So a lot of the times when we're dealing with things emotionally or with stress on our bodies, our systems, when we have the inability to process it, it usually brings us in a state of non-motion. I'll put it like that. Like, we don't like to move, right? So say you have a um, something that's stressful to you that happens. Like, you wake up and you are just late. You feel sick. Today feels shitty, and you just can't process it. 9 times out of 10, your first response is that, I want to sit in bed and not move. I want to stay here and not go anywhere. Excuse me. The same thing can happen if you're not processing, for instance, a job. What do they call it? I haven't had a job in so long. I don't even know. Promotion. Excuse me, guys. So if you can't process emotion of you getting a promotion, it could feel the same way. You could be like, oh, I don't want to go. Excuse me. Excuse me. It could be the same as like, I'm feeling this kind of way about the job, so I don't even want to go there and have to deal with everybody in my promotion because it's too much. So a lot of the times when we don't want to process, maybe are afraid to process, or we just don't know how, our energy tends to get real stagnant. Now, stagnant energy that does not move is low vibrational energy. So when we're not able to process the emotions or the stress, our body filters into a low vibration. So this is stillness, unconscious stillness, okay? funny thing is, one of the better ways to get out of an unconscious stillness is to go into a state of conscious not stealing, stillness. Don't steal shit. Be still. Don't steal. Okay? So what happens is when you are in this state and your body wants to be still and unconscious, you want to sit on the couch and watch Netflix all day. This is your body literally triggering you to move the energy. Now, there's two ways that we can do this. And honestly, I like to couple both. In my AM ritual, I actually do both. But there's two ways to combat this wanting to process, not knowing how, this, being overwhelmed and wanting to just sit down and not move unconsciously. The first way is that you can go into conscious movement. If you get up and dance, if you go for a walk in nature, movement can take stagnant energy and start to shift it. Low vibrational energy is here, right? It moves at a different pace. It's real slow. When you get to high vibrational energy, it moves real fast. And so if you're wanting to transcend your low vibrational energy into high vibrational energy, conscious movement truly can help that. Something as simple as jumping rope, going to the gym, turning on some music and dancing. Dancing is literally one of my favorite ways to move the energy that I have within me. It can take you from not understanding anything that's going on, and through movement, you can really connect to yourself and really feel what's going on, what's really bothering you. Energy is neither created nor destroyed. So dancing can transfer your low vibrational energy to a higher vibrational energy through movement. You can see this in the science by the way that the blood moves. When you're at a lower vibration, your blood is not moving through your system as great. Now, we know that a restricted blood flow, again, in its physical sense, can show up as a lot of disease. Look at this in the same way as you would look at your stress and your emotions not processing. It's like stagnant blood not moving through your body. So the same way to get your blood moving and flowing is potentially the same way to get your emotions processing and moving as well. So blood flow and emotions tie a lot together. And if you can think of things that get your blood flowing, you can see a lot of correlations between when you do have that stagnant energy and you're not able to process your emotions or your stress. If you lean towards the things that get your blood going in your body, it will help you process those emotions as well. Now, if you are a beginner, if you don't really know any mechanisms of how to process your emotions, and you're not in a state where you're not wanting to move, you can also shift the energy around you with movement that's not inside of your body. And a great way to do that is with sound. So if you have an emotion and you feeling kind of stuck, like you don't know how to process the stress or the emotion, you can take anything that makes sound, whether it's like a shakerette that you can shake. You can even snap in your aura. You can take singing bowls and ring them around yourself. You can take clapping, and as you're processing the emotion, clap in your aura. Drumming, anything with sound can get emotions and stress moving. And so you make it in your atmosphere. And what that does, even though maybe you're not physically moving and maybe your blood is not starting to move, but the sound actually resonates with your brain, and it tells your neurons that it's okay to move. So if you're really down and out, or you're super new to the techniques and you're just not feeling movement, try to create movement in your environment. And that could be through any sound. So you can just clap around, snap around. If you have a tambourine, anything that shakes, you can move it in your aura and help filter out and process your emotions and your stress. Now, on the other side of this is stillness that is conscious. The difference between unconscious stillness and stillness in consciousness is vastly different. When you're still and you're unconscious, nothing's moving. You're not directing your focus towards anything. Therefore, your energy is stagnant. In conscious stillness, there is no stagnicity because you're conscious of all the moving parts that you're focusing on. So there's still focus and stillness coupled together, which that alone can move you out of the place. There's many ways to meditate, and all of them typically require focus. You can focus on your breathing. You can focus on a motion you're doing. So maybe you're in a circle. We get that from Kundalini, and that's your focus. And your focus is the breath in and out on the motions. Those things can all, in conscious stillness, help you to move energy. Now, I particularly like a meditation called Vipassana. I was able to give thanks, go to a 10-day silent retreat. And in this 10 days, what I learned is that there is a law of impermanence. And the law of impermanence states that there is nothing we have to do to change anything. Oh, we back. Okay. So that means everything you do in life, everything that happens in life is going to change regardless. You don't have to do anything. It's going to change. That means if you feel sad, that's going to change. If you feel happy, that's going to change. It's a law of impermanence. Nothing in this life is permanent. Nothing in this life is permanent. And so if you can really understand this, you can sit in your seat of consciousness and watch things shift around you. This is conscious stillness. Okay. Now, I would say this is an advanced technique. This is meditation without complete focus on breath. Now, breathing meditation is amazing. If you're a beginner in meditation, that is, in my opinion, the way to go, because your breath is so powerful and it's literally what moves energy in and out of you. Oxygen literally makes everything in your body go. So the more oxygen you can get, and focusing on that oxygen input and the exhalation of letting things that are inside of you go, like stress, fear, focusing on that is highly beneficial. If you already meditate, focusing not on the breath, but on the sensations that you feel is a, a gem of a practice, because now you can keep your same breath and just focus on what you're feeling throughout your body. This form of conscious stillness, I mean that because you're literally still. You're not moving your breath or manipulating your breath. This is the best form of processing emotions and stress that I have found ever in my life, because it brings you to the conscious state of, what am I feeling? What do I need to process? Now, I won't go into Vipassana that much because I'm a true believer. Say what you want. People say all the time, oh, I know some forms of Vipassana. I don't think, whatever. If you don't go to a 10-day silent retreat, you're missing out. I'll just say that. So I don't like to explain it in detail because I feel like people should just go. It is what it is. But if you have it in you to be silent for 10 days, look it up. It's called Vipassana, Vipassana. I believe that's how you say it. So that is the two ways. Now, in stillness, there is a lot of things that can happen. Okay. And this is why I say meditation would be more of an advanced technique. The reason why is because if you are not processing emotions and stress right now, it is showing up in literally every aspect of your life, whether you're conscious or unconscious of it. It is affecting the way you eat, the way you think, the people who are connected to you, your relationships, literally everything in your life is connected to how you're able to process stress and emotions. Your communication is heavily connected to this. So how you know if you're not processing stress and emotions? How you know? Your life probably can feel chaotic. It can feel like things are out of place. You can feel like you don't understand or know how to communicate with people. Your emotions are at a heightened state most of the time. When people do mention things to you, it's like you can't handle it. You lash out, maybe you yell at people. You're aggressive in nature. Um, you have unresolved, healed issues with a lot of things. Your mind is not open to change. You're fearful. You don't feel worthy. This this can put a block on literally everything. And so if you're feeling off in your life in any area, I really urge you to take a look at if you are processing your stress and emotions in a healthy manner. And everyone doesn't do it the same, so I can't tell you what is healthy for you, but you know that you're doing it in a healthy way because you'll have healthier relationships. You'll feel like you can speak up and talk to people without being punished or without it feeling like a daunting task, or you're not fearful of it. So it's a freedom of living. It's being able to be free in who you are, stand proudly in it, and express it to the world. If you're not able to talk about things that um, are healing points for you, even your trauma, then that's a very good indication that you haven't processed it as well as you might think. There's a lot of reasons why people want to shy away from talking about trauma. I'm not here to tell you that, you should want to talk about it to any and everyone. But if you find yourself still in a constant state of when you talk about your trauma, going right back where you are, a lot of the times you aren't processing it. So I encourage you when these moments come up to take a moment and maybe shift the energy. And in doing that, you should find that it's easier to process. Know that processing doesn't look the same for everything. If something comes up and it's traumatic, it doesn't feel right, sometimes processing is crying or yelling. Now, when you do process things and it comes up in emotions like this, do be conscious of the fact that you processing your emotions does not have to, and it should not hurt anybody. So if you need to yell, it shouldn't be at someone. It may just be that you need to scream and let it out. If you need to cry, that is okay. Processing your emotions is okay. It doesn't matter how it makes you feel. It's okay to cry. It's okay to let it out. It's okay to scream. Just don't do it at people, because it's your emotions and your stress that you're processing, not anyone else's. A lot of the times we're taught to stifle what we need, but you know exactly what you need in every moment. Sometimes processing is laughing. I remember when my father transcended, I had a moment when I thought about him and I laughed so hard. It was like uncontrollable laughter. And something within me felt so horrible about it. It was like, how could I laugh about my father passing? It felt so unnatural. And as I was able to sit with it, I realized that me having a memory of him and being able to laugh with him was just me processing that emotion. And it felt good to feel that again instead of crying and, like thinking about him not being in this physical form. My laughter was me healing. And you're allowed to heal however that may be. And so don't let anyone tell you that how you process your emotions is bad or not good, because you are the only one who can process your emotions. No one else can do that for you. No one else can tell you if it's healthy or not. Only you can. And you'll know if you're processing and doing something that is healthy, because it always feels like a relief on the end. It always feels real good. When you're able to talk to someone about something you're feeling or processing, it feels fucking amazing. You feel like a weight may have been lifted off of you, and going back to the freedom, you feel free. So I really want you to take a look at this. Are you processing your emotions and your stress? What has happened in your life that you're not allowing yourself to let go of? When you think about your life, do you still think like things are wrong with it? Are you putting the blame on anyone for something that's happened in your life? Blaming is a very good technique.
Where you going?
When you are in a state of blaming people, you are literally not processing, because everything happens for you in this life. Nothing happens to you. Absolutely nothing happens to you. Everything happens for you. And if there is anyone to blame for anything in your life, that means that instead of processing it, you're blaming. So if you're blaming someone for something, how can you process the emotion that you're actually feeling? Blaming is not a feeling. What are you angry about? What are you fearful of? What makes you scared? What makes you feel unworthy? How can you get to the essence of who you are and what's blocking you from that person, from living that life, from being that person, from feeling your worthiness, from knowing that every day that you wake up, you are waking up and living the life you were divinely sent here to live? I assure you that whatever you write down on a paper from answering those questions, and I urge you to answer those questions, it's going to go back to you being able to process an event, an emotion, or some stress that has happened in your life. Get down to the nitty gritty. Go back to that traumatic time in your life. Maybe your parents sucked. Maybe they hit you. Maybe someone took advantage of you when you were little. Go back and heal it. And when we say healing, you're like, no one really mentions what that is. But it's really just processing what happens and giving yourself enough grace to forgive yourself, to forgive everyone in that moment, and use that as fuel to ignite the fire of who you are right now in this moment. The strength, the determination, all the good shit that you got from that traumatic ass experience. Take that and light a fire under your ass so that you can live the life that you were divinely here to live. Once you're able to do that, once you're able to take what you once thought happened to you and make sure that you go back, process it, and use it as fuel for what happened for you, that is you living a healthy life, the healthiest life you could ever imagine having. It is true freedom, true happiness. So I invite you to do that. Use the steps that I talked about: meditation, breath work, conscious stillness, dancing, moving, clapping in your atmosphere. Get those emotions processing, get them moving and process them in the healthiest way that you know how. All right. Thank you guys for working with me today through everything. We still made it to Wellness Wednesdays. I appreciate every time you tune in, every comment, every like, every share. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for taking this journey with me. I love you, and I will see you next week on Wellness Wednesdays. See you.